What's good, two-timers? I am back again for another video. I felt like I really had to make this video because Samsung just recently announced that they are finally releasing the Note 10, 10 Plus, whatever the different versions of it are. So depending on which version you get, you're going to get a bigger or a smaller phone, pretty much the same features minus the battery. So today I'm going to tell you my thoughts about it and if I would get it or if I would not, and if you should get it or if you should stay with whatever phone you have now. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? I am new two times. On this channel I talk about a lot of tech, but I also do a lot of camera stuff and photography and things like that. It's something new that I'm into, and I mean, I've been having fun with it. I've been doing photography for about almost a year now, and it's going pretty well. The only problem is when I focus so much on the photography, I have less time to do YouTube. So my videos are kind of slacking. But I'm working on it. I'm trying to figure out a way to balance both because they are both hobbies, and on top of that, balance my work life. So it's a lot, but I'll figure it out someday soon. Right now I'm on vacation in California, and let's get into this video. So Samsung just finally unveiled their new Note 10s. If you watched any of my last videos, you would know that I had the Note 8 at a time, and I had a very, very bad time with it at the beginning of its life. Towards the end, the problems that I had before disappeared somehow, just randomly. And it was probably the best phone I had ever had. Even to this day, the Note 8 was probably the best phone I ever had, minus the issues that it gave me in the beginning. So, if you listen to any of my old videos, you will know that I'm adamantly and firmly against buying any phone that is over $1,000. I told people that once these phones start going over $1,000 and you guys start buying them and they start doing good, that's gonna break the ceiling for other companies to start, making their base model phones over $1,000. And unfortunately, that's what came to pass after the iPhone X. So it's just the fact of life that we're living now. Our phones are over $1,000. I don't know about you, but I'm not rich, and now I cannot afford to be switching phones every year. I'm not paying $1,000 I'm not paying $1,000 every year for a new phone just to have a few minor features added to it. So my current problem with the world that we live in when it comes to cell phone technology is that these companies, Apple, Samsung, whatever else companies, it seems like there's no real innovation anymore. They just push out a phone with minor features year after year, trying to get you to buy more and more, that costs more and more, and it's not really different from the phone from the year before. For example, the Note 8 was almost exactly like the Note 9, minus a few features. It was nothing really big, and these features that they add are just gimmicky, and they don't really do anything that is worth paying another $1,000 the next year just for your phone to have a 1-year shelf life. It's really crazy, and that's kind of turned me off to buying a yearly phone like I normally used to do. But last phone I bought was the Pixel 3. It was a great phone, still have it. It's a good phone. I left my Note 8 to get a Pixel. Only problem is I got Google Fi. Google Fi sucks. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Just don't get Google Fi. They say that you jump between different towers and use different networks and you'll always have service, but it's not as good as they say. I'm actually gonna switch to Verizon right after this because I'm tired of paying Verizon prices without getting Verizon service, if you know what I mean. So anyways, forget all that. Let's jump right into the phone. Comes in a bunch of different colors. My favorite one is that rainbow looking color one. I'm sure that's gonna be the first one to sell out because it looks amazing. But let's get into some of the features of the phone. I'm not gonna go into the processor because most people, if you tell them what kind of processor it has, they're not even gonna know what that means. Just know it's faster than the year before. That's the main thing about phones every year. Phone gets faster somehow. Probably not so much that you would even notice actually. The screen, Samsung has probably the best screens on any phones, and they even make screens for iPhones also. So that's a given. There's nothing to say there. The screen is gonna look amazing. And that's every year with Samsung. The screens are great. Now the camera. The camera on the back has 3 cameras. It has a wide angle camera that is 16 megapixels, f-stop 2.2. I love wide angle cameras. That is everything I need in a phone. I specifically buy phones that have wide angle cameras just because I like to get that field of view. But the problem is the wide angle cameras that I buy, I like them to have wide angle cameras on the front, not so much the back. I'm not sure if this phone has a wide angle camera on the front. I'll have to play with it in the store before I purchase it, because if it doesn't, that might be the deal breaker for me. It also has a main camera that's 12 megapixels. It's an f-stop 2.1. It has a telephoto camera that's 12 megapixels, f-stop 2.1. So basically what these 3 cameras means is, it means there's a zoomed in camera, boom. There's a zoomed in camera, there's a normal camera, and then there's this wide angle camera. That's basically what it's saying. So you have 3 cameras that go into different lengths of zoom to basically take the picture that you want. Pretty simple. The f-stop stuff just means it does good in low light. That's all you really need to know without going too deep into camera terms. The selfie camera on the front is 10 megapixels, which isn't all that good, and it's a 2.2 f-stop. So I don't know. When I have phones, I need to know how close the phone is to my face, depending on how I hold it, before I can buy it. Because sometimes, like when I had the Note 8, the camera was very close to your face. It was zoomed in a lot, and I didn't really like that. And that kind of threw me off with taking selfie pictures and stuff like that. But hopefully this camera is a little bit further away. So let's go into some of the features that make the phone worth buying. So it has an in-screen fingerprint sensor. Pretty sure the Note 9 had it. I didn't buy the Note 9 because I bought the Pixel, but I'm pretty sure that feature is on the Note 9, so it's nothing new if you're keeping up with these phones. Note 10 Plus is 6.8 inches. It's a really big phone. If you grab the regular Note, which is a little bit smaller, it's 6.3, so there's that. Now the battery in the Note Plus is a 4300. That is a huge battery. And if you know anything about Samsung, you know they've been having problems with exploding batteries in phones and stuff forever. So we have to wait to see how that goes. Personally, I've had a bunch of Samsung products and the battery has never exploded on me. So take that as you must. I mean, if you're gonna get it, just be wary that that might be an issue. And it has 12 gigs of RAM. That is a lot of RAM. My computer that I edit YouTube videos on has 16. So with that much RAM in a phone, I don't even know what you can do with all that. That's a lot. That is a lot. But you know, that just means the phone will be fast for a long time. The smaller Note has 8 gigabytes of RAM and a 3500 battery. Smaller battery, smaller RAM. It all depends on what you like. If you like holding smaller phones in your hand, I would get the smaller one. But the fact to me is that you're buying a Note. So if you wanted a small phone, a Note probably wouldn't be the best phone for you to go for. Maybe go for a regular Galaxy. I mean, it only makes sense. Why would you get a Note and get a small Note? Notes are known for being big, and that's just like their thing. Also with this Note, they changed the bezels so that the screen is basically from top to bottom. There's no like chin or bezel at the top of the phone. It's just pure screen almost. It looks great. And that, I mean, they also moved the selfie camera from the right hand side to the middle of the phone. It looks good. Now, enough with the specs. Here's some of the features that they added that really pretty much is making me want to buy the phone. So they added an action camera on it. Now, if you don't know what an action camera is, think of a GoPro. Basically, when you're recording something in motion, like you're running with your phone, recording somebody riding a bike or something, naturally the camera is going to shake a lot, almost too much shake to watch. With the action camera, you're shaking, but the camera is still. That is one of the biggest things I've ever seen on a phone. They did a little presentation of it during the Samsung Unpacked, and it was crazy good. Hopefully it works that good in real life. I don't really trust these Unpacked events because sometimes they be acting like something works way better than it does, and they will get you. Another thing they added that I liked was the fact that you can use the depth of field during video live. So if you don't know what that is, when you're doing a portrait picture on your iPhone or whatever phone, you know how you get to make that blur behind the person? Well, somehow they've added it to the actual video as if it's one of these DSLR cameras where the background gets blurry and the person stays in focus. Now that's big. That means I won't have to carry this DSLR around all the time. I'll be able to record videos and use my camera to record, like, you know, clips that go in between the DSLR clips and still get this blurry background stuff that I get now, which is a big deal. I've never seen a phone do that, and to me, as a YouTuber, as a photographer, that is a big deal. So on top of that, every year Samsung and every phone just upgrades their camera, so there's not really much to say about that. Camera's going to be better than last year's camera usually. I mean, what more can you say about that? But that depth of field in the video, that's a really big feature for me, and I'm going to love it. Also, I know that the Note 9 had a Pro mode on the camera so that you can play with your settings as if it's a real professional DSLR camera. So that's going to be fun to play with, if that's what you're into. Now, if you're into other things, they did release something that I really found cool. They released an augmented reality feature, which basically means you get to go into a space, a room, you hold your phone's camera, and you get to draw into the space. So let's say you're in the living room, you're in the middle of the living room, and you draw a little squiggle in the middle of the living room. You can walk around the living room and that squiggle will stay in the middle of the living room on your phone. You can go all the way around it and it'll stay there, and you can see it from all angles. Now, to me, they didn't really explain the full possibilities of this augmented reality. So here's what I'm hoping that they do with this. When they release this augmented reality thing, I hope that this is what they do with it. Let's say you're going down a street in San Francisco. Let's say Samsung makes that street a shared augmented reality space, which means that everybody who has a Samsung phone that walks down that street can start to write into the augmented reality and collaborate with each other. So that way, no matter who goes into there, they can see things that other people have drawn. If Samsung does something like that successfully, which sounds hard to do you know how amazing, how creative that would be? Just imagine walking down the street and you see through your phone all these different murals and art just all over the place that people have made in this little area that they've, you know, made into a collaborative space. Can you imagine what that would, could you imagine what that would be? There would be a world outside of your normal world everywhere you go. That sounds like the most insane thing I've ever seen a phone do. I don't know if they'll do that, but hopefully they're thinking ahead and trying to do this, because that would just be, that would be amazing. That would be life-changing, really. You wouldn't, like, people could make a whole, like a whole museum of art in just a park. You can go into a park and someone could basically make a whole exhibition of art inside that park. Maybe in a field, just anywhere. It would be game changing. Hopefully they do that. I don't know if that's what they're doing, but I'm really hoping they are, because that would just be... Why wouldn't you buy a phone that allows you to do that? I wouldn't buy any other phone ever if someone could do something like that, because it would just make life so much different. I don't know if people get as excited about this type of stuff as I do, but that is super exciting to me. So on top of that, they also allow you to do 3D scanning. You can scan objects and make the objects move in unison with people and stuff like that. Or you can take the 3D scan that you did to a 3D printer and print it on that, which is cool, but not everybody has access to a 3D printer, so it's a iffy feature. It's not going to be for everybody. On top of that, what else have they done to the phone? They changed the S Pen, which is expected. Now you can control the phone with the S Pen. You can take pictures with the S Pen, change the camera modes and things like that with gestures while you're holding the S Pen and the camera is set up somewhere. It's a cool feature, not really gonna be used by everybody. I know when I had the Note, I didn't really use the S Pen too much. It's just too much of a hassle to always pull it out. And if it gets lost, that's not fun. But I mean, it's useful nonetheless. So with that being said, bigger battery, bigger screen, the AR stuff, which is great, S Pen features added, and of course some of the phones will allow you to use the 5G network on Verizon, which is a must because that's next level speed. What do you guys think about it? Me personally, I am definitely getting the Note 10. Now, if you have a Note 9, I'm not sure I would suggest getting the Note 10. It does have some leaps and bounds, but does it have enough of a leap and bound for you to spend $1,100 on this phone? That's something you're gonna have to ask yourself, is basically how deep your pockets are and how much you like new tech. If I had the Note 9, I wouldn't be getting the 10. But thankfully, I don't have the Note 9. I have the Pixel 3, and I am definitely getting the 10 when it comes out, after I get a chance to play with it, depending on that selfie camera, because that camera is big to me. I like to vlog with phones, and if there's not a wide angle lens on that front of the phone, there's no point in me getting it, because it's just not gonna work. Even though I have a camera here to vlog with, it still is very important. They also removed the headphone jack. I'm not sure if they did that on the Note 9, but it definitely was there on the Note 8. So that's kind of a big thing. And they don't include a dongle inside the box so that you can plug headphones into it. You're gonna have to buy that separately for like $10. I don't know if that's a deal breaker for you, but most phones that come out now don't have the headphone jack, thanks to Apple and their innovation. But yeah, if you have the Note 9, I wouldn't suggest upgrading unless you just got deep pockets like some people do. If you have any other phone that is not the Note 9, I definitely suggest you upgrade. This phone has the potential to do some great things, especially with the AR thing. So to me personally, this is a win. Samsung has done it again. Definitely should buy it. Hopefully it doesn't have any of the problems my Note 8 had, and hopefully the batteries don't blow up. So from me to you, get the Note 10. It sounds like a great phone. On paper, this is probably the best phone that's ever been released. On paper. We'll see how it goes when people actually get it in their hands. It looks good. It has some good features. It has a huge battery. Screen is great. Cameras are dope as hell. It allows you to do depth of field in video. You get to use the S Pen to do gestures, as well as using the S Pen to do everything that you used to be able to do, like draw and all that stuff. And it's the Note. The Note is an enthusiast phone. The prices that I have seen are $1,100 starting off. If you want the bigger one with more space, it's an extra $100. So you're looking to spend $1,200 on this phone. Unfortunately, it's over $1,000, but that's not too bad because I remember the S10s, I think, were going for over $1,500. So it's not too bad. It's bad, but it isn't too bad. Definitely affordable if you haven't, if you don't have a Note 9. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Leave your comments below. Tell me if you are about to purchase this phone or if you're going to skip on it. If you have the Note 9, let me know that's why you're skipping. But if you are going to skip, tell me why. What is wrong with this phone that makes you not want to buy it? Or if you're an iPhone person, are you just waiting to find out what the next iPhone is? And hopefully they do some kind of leap and bound from the last iPhone to make it worth buying. I'm new 2 times. Thanks for watching my channel. If you're new here, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're old here, just make sure you like and comment. I love all you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.